Good morning from Raleigh, North Carolina. I am actually at home, and I was thinking of this show. It got a lot of attention. People loved it. It was a sensation. It was a smashing hit. Queen's Gambit. Now, actually, I play chess. Don't play chess with people these days as much as I used to, but I do play it. Um, I'm kind of hiding that secret from someone at my church because I'm kind of hiding from her. I don't know how good she is. I just hiding from her. I get shy. But anyway, so I played chess. I played chess in high school. I played chess in college. Now I wasn't, I'm not awesome or anything. No, 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 no. Average at best. At best. But at any rate, I did watch it, because a lot of people do that I play chess, so I watched it, and it was interesting. If you haven't heard of it, and I'm not sure how you couldn't have, although it is a bit R-rated, it's about a young, girl, becomes a woman. She grew up, if you will, um, mostly in an orphanage, but she was adopted for a short amount of time too. Um, and and she finds solace in the game of chess. She is a quick study, um, and she's a very quick study, amazingly quick, if you will, study. And eventually, it doesn't take her too long where, she's basically, beating two people at the same time without even really looking at the board. These types of things. Um, but she's very dependent on drugs. She becomes highly dependent on drugs. A lot of this drug dependence occurs because of the orphanage. Apparently, the orphanage used, if you would, drugs to keep the kids kind of calmed down and in line, I guess. Now, here's another thing here's something that I thought was interesting. This is in Central Kentucky. Um, Central Kentucky, and I heard very few Southern accents. In Central Kentucky. All right, I can almost understand if we're talking about the greater Cincinnati area. I can almost understand that. But Central Kentucky, this is the 1960s too, so this isn't 2000, where if you will, the 2021, where the Southern accents are dying out. This is not during that time. This is in the 1960s. Could have used a few more Southern accents. Um, Now, the reason why she's in this orphanage is because, um, the mother tried to kill her and herself driving off a bridge. Mama has some issues. Um, Apparently, the mama was a Ivy League educated woman who somehow or another found herself in Kentucky. All right, but anyway, she quickly rises through the ranks, playing chess, against very established players, um, basically just dominating them and taking them over. Now, what is interesting is that these guys, they don't, she wins them over. She does. She wins them over. Pretty quickly, she winds up winning them over. And, and they become pretty close knit friends. If there was some door shutting in this movie, maybe you can point it out for me because I didn't really see that. I did see where guy was like, "Well, this is a girl," and they're wondering, but I didn't really see too much where they were really trying to keep her out. I didn't really see too much of that. Um, Now she also um, she engaged in an interesting habit that I noticed. That I'm pretty sure I'm probably taking a different take on this from other people. Well, heck, you're probably not watching this anyway, but anyway, yeah. But I also noticed some eyeballing during the games. Now I gotta tell you, I played chess. In high school and in college. I have witnessed grandmaster level chess tournaments in person. I have seen them on television and I've seen them online. Where did she get the idea? Who came up with the idea that this lady's going to be eyeballing people? I mean, she's just straight up eyeballing people. Sometimes they eyeballing each other. That doesn't. I mean, maybe. Well, of course, I wasn't around in the 1960s, but I just have I'm just kind of skeptical. I'm just trying to figure out who thought that was a thing. I mean, sometimes you got weird things. Sometimes kids would talk out of turn or something like that. Yeah, some things, but on the international level, that's not happening. I don't know who came up with that idea. Also, there was one that was super funny. I almost fell out when I saw this. She was playing one of the players, I guess, in the international level game, and apparently the person had lost, and he kissed her hand. That was funny to me. What else I thought was interesting about it? Descriptive notation. If you don't know, okay, so descriptive notation, it's basically where you give a name to every part of the board based on where it is in relationship to the king side and the queen side. So if we were to bring up moves, and let's say we're going to have the white knight on the king side move. I guess we would say knight to king, bishops 3, something like that. Or if you were to move, the pawn in front of the king, so, pawn to king's 4. All right. Well, they showed that for the American side because the Americans were using a lot of descriptive notation. I'm not sure if you guys read books. If you read books in the 60s, like Fred Rainfield, for example, you will notice it's written in descriptive notation. Well, they went to the international level. Now, this is an awesome catch. I like what they did here. They went to the international one where they're already using algebraic notation. Had been for a while. And so algebraic notation, you will notice it would go, across in letters, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and then up in numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, for example, let's say white is moving. Let's see. So we're going to move the pawn up to D4. So let's say white D4, black D5, white C4. Now, by the way, that's also basically the beginnings of the queen's gambit. Not the king's gambit, but the queen's gambit. So at any rate, they actually, that was a pretty cool transition. I like that they did that. I saw a lot of loss. Obviously her biological mother dies. Her mother, her adopted mother, who had a very hard life, and apparently was in a very unhappy marriage. Um, she eventually dies as well. That's why she goes on this big time just drug binge. I thought it was a pretty good. I mean, I don't really like to see smoking and drugs, and I hate cussing, but I understand that these folks are trying to imitate life. Now, here's something that I got a little confused by. You remember the days where everybody and their mom was saying, "I am Tiger Woods, I am Tiger Woods," this type of thing, or "I am Fred Hampton." Maybe you don't remember that one, but what was this "I am Beth Harmon" craze about? Um, First of all, in the 1960s, there was no real Beth Harmon. I mean, at least not in the chess world. There was nobody that competitive woman, that competitive that I'm aware of, if you will, in the chess world in the 1960s. Um, and to be honest with you, probably the closest person that I could think of would probably be in that Polgar family. So probably Judith Polgar, who competed with men and did regularly beat men, and was very highly rated. 2,700, I want to say. I gotta check that. I know of at least 2,690 and probably a little bit around the 2,700. So possibly a super grandmaster. Um, but I don't know. I don't know who on earth. I kept running into these stories like that. There was this one young lady. I think she's a popular YouTuber, um, who was saying, "I'm the real Beth Harmon," and and I was like, and I think it had something to do with how she was treated amongst men and something like that, and which is an issue in chess. That is an issue, that we need to certainly address, or I'm not, or we as a society, I'm not in an organization, but what kind of messed me up was I was like, did this lady see the same movie I did? Because this lady really didn't have to fight through those doors. I mean, they were hailing this lady before she was even a lady. She's not going through that. All right? She is not going through that. I'm not even sure where this was coming up. And then there was also another issue because me and a lot of people who weren't very familiar with chess, or maybe, kept calling the young lady a grandmaster. Now, to be clear, if this young lady was to walk into this door, pull out a chessboard, and say, "Let's play 100 times," I don't even know if I'll draw in a single one of these. I believe this lady went up to an international title of Women's Federation Master. Typically, that's conferred upon people who hit 2,100, who are women. Um, Federation Master, or FIDE Master, excuse me, is 2,300, but then we have rankings for women that go 200 points down each way. So, for example, a Grandmaster would be 2,500 plus three Grandmaster norms. We don't have time for that. But at any rate, Women's Grandmaster would start at 2,300. Women's International Master, dang, she might have even been lower than that. The Women's International Master will start at 2,200. And then, if you will, Women's FIDE Master will start at 2,100. That's kind of how that works. And I'm trying to think, her highest peak doesn't even get up quite that high, but they gave it to her anyway. Now, if you were to put that in probably American chess organization standards, so the United States Chess Federation, that might just equate to maybe national master. So this is a strong player. So don't get me wrong. She would whoop. She She would take me to the woodshed, have so many splinters in me, I'm out there looking like a black porcupine. But what I'm saying is, she's no grandmaster. And I just don't see how she got this I was the real Beth Harmon thing. Especially since this book was written, well before she was before she was born. So I thought that was interesting. But quite a few people I was like, wait a minute here, okay. Well, what about your life indicates that, your mama tried to drive you off of a bridge? You got drugged up, became an addict in an orphanage. Your other mother winds up dying. You winds up going through another drug-like haze. Well, that you had to basically finance yourself through, a Cold War block. Well, when did this stuff happen to you? I certainly would believe that, she experienced some sexism, because that certainly would have happened. And I can see that. I'm just trying to figure out where did she find it in this movie is what I'm trying to find out. Wind up going to bed, waking up with a strange lady in your bed. Sleeping in the bathtub. When did all this happen to you is what I'm trying to figure out. But anyway, all right, that's enough. That is definitely my time, especially since I don't even know if one or two people are going to watch this. But if you do, hey, I thank you for tolerating me for this long. Okay, bye-bye.